have I been getting calls?
Because this is like...
Why am I getting calls and I haven't even said anything?
Because this is the monster of all monsters.
Who? Me?
This Diddy case.
Why would I, Jason Lee, I'm getting calls and I haven't even said anything. They ain't called me to go to the Rock Nation brunch. They haven't called me to go to the Gold Party.
To accept being honored.
They haven't called me when we offered to honor Jay-Z at the award show. They didn't call me to go to the press conference about striking the deal with the NFL while we were kneeling for Kaepernick. They didn't call me to ask me what I thought about her hair care product. They didn't call me to offer a free bottle of her perfume. I didn't get to go backstage on her tour for the Renaissance. In fact, when the video circulated making it look like I've been chasing her around like a super fan, which I am a super fan, but I chase nobody. Nobody's called me to clear that up. I haven't gotten a delivery of white flowers with a little card from Beyonce. Why is everybody calling me now?
Oh, and you also stopped.
That we not gonna even go there. I stopped a major thing for Beyonce. Didn't even get a thank you. So why is everybody calling me now? Because I'm a firefighter. Because I run towards fires and I put them out or I fan the flames. But why is everybody calling me now? And that's the problem that I have with this whole situation. But I am going to save this conversation for Jay-Z. Jay-Z, you're watching. I know you're watching because you got people calling me. Stop having people call me. You can call me yourself. You know how to get my number. You know you got people calling me.
Jason Lee just dropped a bomb so explosive.
Jason Lee just exposed a secret about Beyoncé's twins that could shake the entire Carter empire. Hidden diagnoses, leaked footage, and silent threats from Solange. This isn't just drama. It's a scandal they never wanted the world to know. Don't blink, the truth is darker than anyone imagined. Jason Lee has stirred up a storm one so intense it sent the Bayhive into a frenzy. But this time, it's not Beyoncé at the center of the spotlight. It's her children. According to Jason, he's come across what he calls undeniable video, evidence footage that allegedly shows Beyoncé's twins, Sir and Rumi, exhibiting behaviors associated with autism. Whether or not the claims hold weight, they've already lit a firestorm of speculation. Behind the scenes, it's said that Solange is livid. Quiet fury, ready to boil over Beyoncé has always been fiercely private about her family, especially when it comes to her twins. To the public, it seemed like a natural desire to shield her kids from the harsh glare of fame, but Jason is turning that assumption on its head. He claims the secrecy wasn't about protection, it was about concealment. Specifically, he suggests a medical diagnosis the family never intended to share. Now that this alleged footage has leaked, insiders say Solange is ready to defend her niece and nephew at all costs, even if that means calling out every voice, fueling the rumor mill. So, what's really in this mysterious footage that's triggered such a reaction within the Knowles family circle? Are Jason's claims based on truth, or is this just another instance of someone pushing the envelope for attention? Regardless of the motive, one thing is clear: a deeply private matter has been dragged into the public eye and the fallout has only just begun. Jason Lee isn't just stirring the pot anymore, he's flipping the entire table. This time, he's gone where most wouldn't dare, directly into Beyoncé's most guarded territory, her children. It wasn't just a casual name drop or a throwaway comment. Jason took aim at something Beyoncé has fought hard to protect: the privacy of her twins, Sir and Rumi. From the start, she's drawn a clear line in the sand: no unauthorized photos, no media chaos, no unsolicited narratives. The public has only ever seen glimpses of them through her carefully curated lens. And that silence, it's spoken volumes. But now, whispers that have quietly circulated in fan circles for years have exploded into full-blown controversy. The long-standing speculation that the twins might be on the autism spectrum, once only shared behind closed doors, has been dragged into the spotlight. And it wasn't hinted at, it was declared. Jason didn't hide behind innuendo or vague suggestion. He flat-out claimed it's true. According to him, there's real footage, unfiltered and unedited, that shows behaviors he believes confirm the rumors. No secondhand stories, no cryptic tweets. Just a bold assertion, complete with what he calls receipts. And if that weren't enough, Jason delivered his claims with a defiant tone, practically daring Beyoncé to respond. This isn't just celebrity gossip anymore, it's a full-on challenge to one of the most private and powerful figures in pop culture. And it's already sending shockwaves through the fandom and beyond. Here's where things take an unexpected and deeply charged turn. Jason Lee isn't just sharing information anymore. He's claiming there's been an effort to silence him. According to him, Beyoncé's team allegedly made direct contact, trying to prevent him from taking his claims any further. On the latest episode of his podcast, Jason suggested they weren't just concerned, they were in full damage control mode, hoping to stop a leak before it turned into a full-scale media flood. But if that was their strategy, it doesn't seem to be working. In fact, Jason's response has only intensified, while Beyoncé and Jay-Z have been keeping up appearances, smiling at events, playing it cool, and publicly showing support. Jason's not buying the act. He sees it as strategic silence dressed in civility, and instead of backing down, he's doubling down. He's not just making claims, he's building a case. With timelines, quotes, and receipts in hand, Jason says he's drawing a line between public image and private truth. And what's turning heads is how he's using Beyoncé's own past words to back up his narrative. Take, for instance, that 2018 Vogue interview, a moment many fans celebrated for its vulnerability. In it, Beyoncé opened up about the difficult birth of her twins. She revealed that she developed preeclampsia, then referred to as toxemia during her pregnancy, was placed on extended bed rest, and had to undergo an emergency C-section. One of the twins was born underweight, and at one critical point, their heart stopped during delivery. Afterward, both babies spent weeks in the NICU. At the time, the focus was on Beyoncé's strength and resilience. But now, Jason's urging people to revisit that story with new eyes. He's pointing to medical research that links preeclampsia and complicated births to increased risks of neurodevelopmental conditions like autism, while nothing Beyoncé said confirmed such a diagnosis. Some now wonder if her openness was a quiet signal, an attempt to share without saying too much. What makes the speculation even more intense is the way Beyoncé has spoken about her children. In various interviews, observers have noted that when she discusses her daughters, especially Blue Ivy, her tone is bold, affirming, and filled with aspirations. She describes them as leaders, confident voices, and future CEOs. But when it comes to her son, Sir, her language has been more measured, quieter. It's led some fans to read between the lines. This isn't just about gossip anymore. It's about interpretation, perception, and how tightly celebrities control or don't control the stories told about their lives. And as Jason continues to connect the dots, he's igniting conversations that many people once felt too uncomfortable to have. Things took a sharp turn when Jason Lee claimed Beyoncé's team wasn't just aware of his allegations, they allegedly tried to keep him quiet. On his latest podcast episode, Jason dropped another bombshell. He says Beyoncé's inner circle reached out directly, hoping to prevent him from taking this any further. According to him, they were doing damage control behind the scenes, trying to plug the leaks before they turned into a full-blown flood. But if they hoped Jason would back off, the strategy backfired. Instead of silence, they got fire. While Beyoncé and Jay-Z have been all smiles in public, keeping their usual composed, untouchable image intact, Jason isn't buying it. He sees the PR smiles, the staged warmth, and he's not fooled. If anything, it's only pushing him to reveal more. And reveal more. He has. Jason says he's not just throwing theories into the wind, he's connecting dots with timestamps, direct quotes, and what he calls verifiable receipts. Perhaps most compelling of all, he.s. using Beyoncé's own words as part of his case. He points back to that moment when Beyoncé spoke publicly about her son. Sir, unlike the glowing praise she often shares about her daughters, her language shifted when describing her son. She spoke of wanting to shield him from the world, protect him from the internet's expectations, and help him affirm his identity. Many heard a mother's love. But Jason and now, some fans heard something more layered. A subtle message, an unspoken truth. According to Jason, that was Beyoncé's way of softly acknowledging Sir's diagnosis, autism, without ever naming it directly. He claims that's also why Sir has remained even more hidden from public view than his sister, Rumi. Jason alleges that Sir's condition is more severe, and that Rumi, who, he says, is considered high-functioning, is only allowed brief, tightly controlled public moments. He even references the Cowboy Carter tour, where Rumi made appearances, though always in carefully managed backstage environments. But Sir, Jason says his needs are much more sensitive. requiring total control of his surroundings that, he argues, is the real reason Sir has almost never been seen. It's not just privacy, it's about providing full protection. And this isn't the first time Jason's hinted at this. Long before these claims went mainstream, he'd been teasing big secrets about Beyoncé on his show. In one episode, he whispered something to a co-host that sparked a stunned reaction, and fans have speculated ever since. But that was just the warm-up. In the same episode, Jason claimed he had hard evidence, video, documents, proof that he was prepared to expose it all unless Beyoncé agreed to send Kelly Rowland to appear on his show. He didn't phrase it gently. It was a blunt ultimatum, yet Kelly never showed up. And Jason kept his word. Now he's escalated even further. In a bold and highly controversial claim, Jason said that Beyoncé and Jay-Z made the decision to place Sir in a private, full-time care facility, not just under the care of a nanny. Not hidden within the walls of their estate, but in a separate, high-end institution designed for children with special needs. That detail rocked fans, because while the facility may be luxurious, the idea of Beyoncé and Jay-Z not raising their son in their own home shattered the image of the tightly knit Carter family they've long projected. Some people are calling it abandonment. Others are saying it may have been a necessary, compassionate choice. Either way, the idea that Sir could be growing up apart from the rest of his family has left many stunned. And Jason isn't the only one adding fuel to the fire. Azealia Banks, one to hold back, jumped into the chaos with a reckless tweet. "Stop hiding your son from the world," she wrote, warning Beyoncé that the truth would eventually come out. She even accused the singer of being ashamed of her own child. It was brutal, blunt, and impossible to ignore. Love her or hate her. Azalea's words hit hard, especially when they align with Jason's narrative. And Jason isn't done. He claims to have even more evidence, and is threatening to release it if the Carters keep trying to silence him. But here's where the story takes a spiritual twist. Jason now says that Solange, Beyoncé's famously private and fiercely protective sister, has entered the chat. He points to an old Instagram post where Solange shared a photo of a voodoo altar. At the time, many assumed it was aimed at Nicki Minaj, who had just traded subtle jabs with Beyoncé. But Jason insists the altar wasn't for Nicki at all. According to him, it was a warning sent directly his way. A symbolic message from Solange: back off my family, or face the consequences. And if anyone knows Solange's reputation, they know she doesn't bluff. She's not the type to deliver flashy threats or orchestrate PR stunts. Instead, she moves with a different kind of power, quiet, spiritual, but unmistakably fierce. Solange has always occupied a unique space in the Knowles-Carter orbit, part artist, part mystic, part protector. While Beyoncé projects control, polish, and composure, Solange is the fire burning just beneath the surface. Her energy is raw, creative, and often unpredictable. When she speaks or even posts something cryptic, people listen, not just because of what she says, but because of what it could mean. And that's why Jason Lee's claim that a spiritual altar posted to Solange's Instagram was directed at him hit differently. If he's right, that altar wasn't just an aesthetic choice. It was a message, a warning, a spiritual line drawn in the sand. For those familiar with Black Southern spiritual traditions or with Solange's past expressions of ancestral reverence, it's not far-fetched. It's layered, symbolic, and very intentional. Solange has always played the role of Beyoncé's quiet enforcer. From the now legendary elevator incident with Jay-Z to moments where she stepped in to defend her sister publicly and privately, Solange has proven again and again that she is not to be underestimated. She's not part of Beyoncé's official team, but she doesn't need to be. Her loyalty runs deeper than business. It's blood. And if she feels her family is under threat, especially from someone as provocative as Jason Lee, history tells us she will respond in her own way. It might not be with press releases or social media clapbacks, but it will be felt. That's what makes this moment so charged, because Solange isn't laughing this off. And she's certainly not ignoring it. So, here we are. Jason Lee has now made some of the boldest allegations the Carter-Knowles family has ever faced publicly. He isn't just suggesting private struggles, he's outright claiming both of Beyoncé's twins, Sir and Rumi, are on the autism spectrum, and that this has been carefully hidden from the public for years. He's alleging that Sir, in particular, has more complex needs, so much so that Beyoncé and Jay-Z have placed him in a private, luxury care facility where he can receive full-time support, away from the family estate. That's a massive claim, one that, if true, paints a very different picture of the Carter family than the one we've seen curated over the past decade. For years, their public image has been one of unity, resilience, and perfection. To powerhouse parents raising a beautiful, talented family with grace, style, and love. Their children have been shown as symbols of Black excellence and legacy, so the idea that their son might be living away from home, not because of fame or privacy, but due to medical or developmental needs, shatters that narrative. The public response has been mixed, deeply mixed. Some people are outraged by Jason's revelations. To them, this feels like a brutal invasion of privacy. A cheap attempt to capitalize on something incredibly personal and possibly painful. These voices argue that no parent, celebrity or not knows the public details about their children's medical history. And if a child is dealing with something as sensitive as autism, especially in a world that still stigmatizes then it's the family's right to choose how and when to share that. Others, however, are starting to ask harder questions. They're looking back at Beyoncé's interviews, at the subtle ways she's talked about her children, and wondering if maybe she has been trying to say something all along without saying it outright. Her 2018 Vogue interview is being reread and reanalyzed with fresh eyes. The emergency C-section, the NICU stay, the health complications, the emotional weight in her voice when describing Sir. It all seems to take on new meaning now. And then there's the social media aspect. Visibility, or the lack of it, tells a story of its own. Rumi has appeared in carefully curated photos and brief cameos at events. But Sir, his absence has always been more pronounced. Fans have speculated for years, but most kept their questions to themselves out of respect. Now, they're wondering, if the distance was more than just privacy, was it necessity? Jason claims yes, and he says he has the receipts to prove it. And here's where things get even more complicated. Jason isn't just leaking information, he's positioning himself as a whistleblower of sorts, of figure, calling out what he sees as a hidden truth, buried beneath celebrity image-making. But others see something very different, a man with a platform, who's using deeply personal and potentially unverified information for leverage and attention. He's claimed that Beyoncé's team tried to suppress the story, even offering compensation to keep him silent. He's said he was given an ultimatum: stop, or face consequences. And in return, he issued one of his own: agree to a public appearance he specifically mentioned. Kelly Rowland, or I'll tell the world everything. Kelly never appeared. And so, according to him, the floodgates opened, but that ultimatum has raised ethical questions. Is Jason revealing truth, or exploiting pain? Is this advocacy, or is it manipulation? And perhaps the most haunting question, what if he's right? Because if even part of his story holds true, if Sir Carter is indeed living apart from his family due to his condition, then we're looking at a family under immense private pressure, trying to navigate something very human under the glare of impossible public expectations. This goes beyond gossip. It touches on how we view celebrity parenting, how we treat children with disabilities, and how we allow or deny famous people the right to struggle without spectacle. It forces us to confront our role in a culture that demands transparency but gives no room for vulnerability. Meanwhile, Jason says he's still holding back. More footage, more files, more proof. And he's hinted that if he's pushed any further, he'll release everything. That threat, whether real or bluff, the public on edge. Because if there's more, what is it? And why hasn't he shared it already? And looming over all of this is the energy of Solange. If she truly believes her family is under siege, we may be on the verge of seeing her step out from the shadows once again, not with fists this time, but with symbols, energy, and the kind of ancestral force she's long channeled through her art and activism. At this point, the conversation is no longer just about rumors or reputations. It's about secrets, protection, dignity, and power. It's about how far someone is willing to go to protect their child, and how far another is willing to go to expose them. So where does this go next? That's the question on everyone's mind. And until Jason makes his next move or the Carters decide to break their silence, this storm will keep gathering force. What do you believe? Is this a truth the world needed to hear? Or a line that should never have been crossed? Whatever side you're on, one thing is clear. This isn't just messy, it's a cultural reckoning playing out in real time. None of us are watching it passively anymore.